So I'm in a weird scenario where it's a very unique scenario. There aren't many people. There's only myself and one other person I've ever encountered in my entire life who has gone more than a month with truly zero sleep. I've only ever encountered one other person. If you're watching this, man, reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. But from my understanding, he's not. I don't know. He told me he was mentally destroyed, and I understand that. I understand what it's like to be mentally destroyed and to just be in this state where you're like, you're just trying to drag yourself through life and nothing makes sense. So I don't know. I'd love to talk to that guy. Without harassing him, I'll put in some effort into finding out if I can reach out to him or something. But it kind of all comes to the point of this video. So one of my very intelligent commenters left a comment for me the other day on video. He said, "You say you were born cesarean section. Do you think that this has anything to do with the insomnia struggles you have? What would you do about that?" Well, I do think I'm going to start pacing, because I like the pace helps me think. So I do think being born cesarean may have had something to do with it, but my other two siblings were also born cesarean, and they do not have sleep problems, period. They just don't have sleep problems, period. So I don't think that has to do with it. The thing that's coming to mind is the heavy metal burden borne by the firstborn. Might have something to do with it, because this is definitely heavy metal related. What would I do about the not having a cesarean birth, or having a cesarean birth? I would recommend, and what I'm doing for myself is I'm just rebuilding my gut microbiome. I don't think that the absence of struggle is like a thing, because my wife was born cesarean, I was born cesarean, my brother was born cesarean, my sister was born cesarean. My brother and I are two of the most dominant wrestlers in the United States. We haven't won anything national yet, but been working on some other stuff, setting the stage for some of that high-level training. Stay tuned, it will come. So I don't feel like I've suffered from the absence of struggle. I mean, I feel like I can struggle with the best of them, and I've proven that to myself time and time and time again. So is my brother, who was born cesarean. So is my wife, who was born cesarean. Watch my wife, who was born cesarean, be in labor for 5 days and give birth to my massive-headed second daughter. After I watched her do that, I was like, my wife could train to beat Khabib in a fight and then beat Khabib in a fight, because of the sheer willpower and focus that woman was able to harness to give birth to this baby after 5 days of not sleeping and being in terrible pain. So no, I don't think there's like a struggle element there. I think there's definitely a bacterial element. Like, I didn't get the microbiome, but I think breastfeeding is a bigger influence, and I was breastfed. So either way, I'm just going to continue to rebuild my microbiome, which fish oil, very, very helpful for rebuilding the gut microbiome. B vitamins, very, very helpful for rebuilding the gut microbiome. Eating digestible food in appropriate quantities and getting your metabolism as high as possible, amazing for the gut microbiome. Maintaining proper mineral balance and salt balance and electrolyte balance, critical for the gut microbiome. Staying hydrated, critical for the gut microbiome. Not allowing myself to become excessively stressed out and kind of constipated mentally in my head while I just think about and ruminate on all of the things in my life that I wish I could change that I can't, or that I would change that I might have changed. You know what I mean? Like, bad for the gut microbiome. So I'm just going to make a video where I just start talking, and it totally seems like I know what I'm talking about, and I got this whole video planned out, but I don't. I'm just turning on a camera and just speaking as things come into my mind. Amazing for the gut microbiome. Other things that are good for the gut microbiome, well, vitamin D is very helpful for turning genes on, signaling. I may get a tanning bed. The tanning beds are great because I live in New England, so I got to get a tanning bed when I can't get this Florida sun, Florida fun. And cesarean. I don't think cesarean was the big thing that did this for me. I just really don't, because I was also breastfed, which I think is better for the gut microbiome than being born cesarean is bad for it. So Really, I'm just making this video because before I went to Florida, I ate 4 jars of fish eggs, 8 ounces of caviar. And I felt like God was speaking to me. I couldn't necessarily make out anything he was saying, but it was more like this hum, this whistle. It was just like the divine music of the spheres. I could hear it. It's awesome. Like I felt like my brain was doing a thing, a very good thing. And you can eat a lot more fish eggs for that reason. I feel like these things are critical in the process. But I feel like these things are critical. Fish eggs, the sheer massive doses of omegas released into my brain are critical for healing my brain from insomnia. Because, I don't know, I'm talking to my family, to my family, basically. And I'm really much trying to rebuild my psyche. Someone said psyche means soul in the classical sense. I guess trying to rebuild my soul. I don't know. My soul is I don't know. I feel like a nuclear bomb went off in my brain. That's basically how I feel. Like I'm here. Definitely here. Definitely wasn't really here for a while. At least not in the sense of like feeling like I was here. I just felt like I was dying all the time. Psyche is soul. I might be quiet for a while. It's just because I'm thinking. I'm really trying to actually put together my mind here, and there's something here beyond just. This guy, Juan Love, he's been leaving some very intelligent comments on my YouTube videos. I really like those. Makes me encouraged that there are intelligent people out there who will understand what I'm talking about. I feel like Hermes Trismegistus. I'll just get into that because, I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue. So I feel like Hermes Trismegistus. Trismegistus meaning thrice blessed, the guy who taught Abraham. Why the hell would I feel like him? Well, maybe because Odysseus went to the land of the dead, Hercules went to the land of the dead, Orpheus went to the land of the dead, Jonah went to the land of the dead, Jesus went to the land of the dead. Hermes Trismegistus. Where did you go? Where did you go to be thrice blessed? The shamans go to the land of the dead. I feel like whatever's meant by going to the land of the dead is something I've done 3 times. 3 times in my life. Each one completely and utterly traumatizing and destroying to my mind and body. 16, 18, 24. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. I feel like I've died 3 times and yet I am here. The first time I died, I did not know what to make of it. I was trying to repiece my psyche, and I did a very large dose of LSD, and then I vaped some weed on top of it, and I went to DMT land for 12 hours. That's its own video. Maybe. That felt like a death. Felt like I forgot everything about who I was, and I was like, why are the monkeys with colorful cloths living in painted boxes in the woods? That wasn't a death compared to the other 3. That was just, I don't know, it was just something. And I really got to experience how that wasn't a death when I died again a year later. Didn't sleep for another month. And I don't really feel like I feel like now, this month, maybe the last month a little bit, really like this month, this is the first time I've really been able to think after that experience. I haven't been able to think. Well, why haven't you been able to think, Devin? You made all these videos, you've done all this stuff. What do you mean you haven't been able to think? Doesn't make any sense. How could you not be able to think? You're clearly thinking. You've been thinking. You've made all these videos. What do you mean? Got a degree? What do you mean you can't think? Well, I mean that after the first experience, I was in shell shock. PTSD. Definitely PTSD. But I was dealing with it well. Second experience, oh, it came back. I didn't know what reality was. I was just like, if I eat anything but beef, salt, and water, I'm gonna die. I did that for years. It worked so well. Other things I was doing as well, but it worked so well that I could start eating other foods and not die. But I felt like shit the entire time. Like, even when I was sleeping, I felt like shit. After I was sleeping, I felt like shit. Oh, 18. So let's say 18. I go to UMass. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good, you know? Probably eating a little too many carbs. But hey, the protein fasting was helping me previously. Feel good mentally. Feel very good mentally. It's the last time I felt good mentally until about this month. Gut. Gone. I didn't have solid poops from... I may have had 5 dozen solid poops from the age of 18 to the age of 24. My gut was gone. Your gut's the second brain. It's where all the neurotransmitters come from. This was running on supplements I would take every 15 minutes, meditation, caffeine, and nicotine and weed. For like 5 years. Threw some Adderall into the mix at some point because needed to. Not on any of those things right now. Feels strange. Feels good. Feels strange. Feels good. Feels strange. Feels good. Feels strange. Feels good. Had some solid poops. Had a few liquidy poops, but mostly solid poops. I don't feel like I'm constantly running from this sword of Damocles hanging over my head anymore. I feel like it's like 3 feet to the left. It's weird. I'm not gonna like immediately die from something unseen. It'll take at least a few seconds before the threat of imminent death is there. I can breathe easy. No one around me understands any of this. Or at least doesn't feel that way. Like they're kind of like, yeah, Devin struggles with sleep problems and help him out, you know, feel kind of bad for the guy. It's only the people with the sleep problems that understand. The real sleep problems. Everyone else is just like... I came to realize the people I was close to, when I went for those first 2 Insomnia episodes, had no fucking idea that was even happening. They're like, oh, I guess Devin's not sleeping that great. People are really, 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 really strange in the fact that they will not see something that they don't want to see unless you force them to see it. Like, you have to, like... You can't even force them to see it. You have to... I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. I don't even understand why my family now understands what I'm going through when they didn't beforehand. I don't actually know. I don't actually know. I really don't. I'm talking to them. I'm going to get an answer at some point. I mean, I'll figure it out, but I don't know. I feel really good physically. Like, if you look at me, I just ate like 2 pounds of steak for breakfast. Cut out there, but I look like a Greek god. Feel really good. If I eat anything other than beef, salt, water, or caviar, or green tea, I will start puking and shitting immediately, become completely dysfunctional for a week, not sleep for that entire week, and it'll take several weeks for my body to restore homeostasis. I think this is due to redox balance issues at the level of the mitochondria and decreased enzyme stores that were used up over those years that I consumed foods that weren't beef, salt, and water that led to me developing the same insomnia again. Okay, so back to the land of the dead and Hermes Trismegistus. So, why do I feel like I am in some way related to Hermes Trismegistus? Like, in some symbolic sense. Why? Because Hermes Trismegistus is thrice blessed. There's something to going to the land of the dead. I think there's so much to going to the land of the dead that Jesus actually had to die. The story is so pregnant in its symbolic majesty and its reality-based patterns that it actually happened. I believe that to be the case. So, what does that mean about me? Well, I think Hermes Trismegistus, I think there's lessons you learn. Like in shamanism, you learn lessons by going to the land of the dead. I think there's lessons you learn by dying. Such as how to come back from the dead. You know, like Dr. Manhattan's first trick in Watchmen, he says, the first trick I learned, Adrian, was how to rematerialize. If that couldn't kill Osterman, why would you think it would kill me? Some weird way I've ended up becoming Osterman. But basically teaches you how to rematerialize. I had to learn how to, like, you see old people dying, you're like, oh, there's nothing you can do. No, there is stuff you can do, you just don't do it. Because I've been that old person dying 3 times now. I've been more far gone than they have. If I did what those old people dying did, I'd be dead in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months max. They may get years doing that. They are much more physiologically resilient than I am. They are. I'm very jealous of them. It's quite irritating. They'd be like, oh, I'm dying. And I'm like, what have you done to not die? Oh, nothing. I just eat my best and I sit down and do nothing but you. You know, if I did that for 6 months, I'd fucking die too. But you've been doing it for years and you're still here. And it's somehow a mystery to you that your dick doesn't work the way you want it to, but it still works. Well, my dick didn't work when I was 16, bucko. Like, they're living in some alternate fucking reality from me. Just some alternate fucking reality. Where you neglect everything and it somehow magically works anyway. I don't live in that reality. I live in the reality where you do everything right and you fucking die horribly and painfully while losing your mind while no one understands what's happening to you. At the age of 16, you have erectile dysfunction for a fucking year while you shit and piss blood. That's my reality. And I figured out how to come back from that. 2 more times. This 3rd time was the hardest. I've realized the reason for this is that complete mitochondrial failure causes, which happens with total insomnia, causes damage to the mitochondria. So maybe there's some weird thing whereby experiencing total insomnia, complete mitochondrial failure, 3 times means you really get it. You really get how the mitochondria works. Well, what does that mean if you understand the mitochondria works? I don't fucking know. I'm still here, and according to all modern medical science, I should be dead. They're wrong, so I really shouldn't be dead, because if modern medical science says something, it doesn't really mean much, depending on who's saying it and why. But I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that whenever any person tries the protocols that I developed to fix my sleep problems, they get better and become basically like super fucking human. That's all I know. So now I think I've discovered the Philosopher's Stone. I do. I think I've discovered the Philosopher's Stone. I think I made sense of what Jung was getting at in Psychology and Alchemy with how the psyche relates to immortality. I think that Jesus dying for our sins to alleviate guilt and shame is a critical component in the feedback loop between the breath, the prefrontal cortex, and the HPA axis, that there's a whole system around it. You know, I'm writing a book on this called The God Engine. I'm trying to get into this, but I feel like this is the Philosopher's Stone. I just feel this way. I feel like I discovered this from like divine revelation. Like literally, I just feel like it was like fucking divinely revealed to me because I'd actually understand it. I don't know. I was just asking God to give me a way to like explain health to people, and then drew up that diagram. You can see it in my videos. And then when I wasn't sleeping last 2 years, that was all I had to go off of because I couldn't think and no one could help me. And so I just go back to the diagram. And it like, just to kind of focus me, you know what I mean? Like, just sort of like, okay, if this makes any sense, then throw up. Okay, look at the diagram. Okay. I gotta create some sort of movement. I'm gonna drink as much water as possible and just take tons of betadine to increase the acidity and let my body run on its own without the increased acidity, and that oscillation will do something. And it did. This oscillating system I've devised based on principles such as metabolic inertia that I believe I've developed worked. I'm going to elaborate on it in a book. It's definitely incomplete. But I definitely learned something from almost dying 3 times. And I wonder if it's the same thing Hermes Trismegistus learned. And I wonder if that's why people before the flood lived for 1,000 years. You know, I have a friend, good friend from high school, who works on immortality. I didn't used to think immortality was possible. I thought it was built into the human condition that we would die. Almost divinely ordained, let's say. I now no longer think this. I've already died 3 times. It's tempting to end the video there. It's a good end point, but we shall see. My wife is knocking on the door. I told her I'd make a 5-minute video, and it's going on 20 minutes. She's a lovely woman. She's the one who recommended that I eat fish eggs. I'm going to go with her to the pool, and I'm just going to leave this video to upload. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you're really interested in that God Engine Philosopher's Stone idea that I proposed. I didn't get into it the way I wanted to in this video. I didn't even want to get into it in this video. I didn't even know what this video was going to be. Go check out my other videos on the God Engine. I really try to explain it. Cheers. May God be with you.